If this story touched your heart, don't forget to subscribe, like the video, and share your thoughts in the comments. Your support keeps these stories alive. The construction site was loud that morning. Metal hit metal. Men shouted. Dust floated in the air like smoke. Caroline walked slowly with a heavy block on her head. Her neck burned. Her arm shook. But her face stayed calm. Then a deep voice cut through the noise. "Caroline!" She froze. The block stayed balanced on her head, but her heart jumped hard in her chest. She knew that voice. She turned slowly. Vincent was standing there. Not in a suit. Not with bodyguards. Just him, watching her like the world had gone quiet. The workers around stopped moving. They stared. A rich man did not belong here. Caroline carefully dropped the block to the ground. Dust rose between them. "Good morning, sir," she said softly, lowering her eyes. Vincent looked at her hands. They were rough, cracked, covered in cement. "These hands," he said quietly, "are the same hands that returned my wallet without touching a single note." People whispered. "Wallet? Which wallet? Is she a thief?" Caroline lifted her head, confused and scared. "Sir, I didn't take anything," she said, her voice shaking. "I only did what was right." Vincent stepped closer. "I know," he said firmly. "And that is why I am here." The site manager rushed forward nervously. "Sir, is there a problem? This woman is just a laborer." Vincent turned to him, his eyes cold. "No," he said. "She is not just anything." Caroline felt her chest tighten. All eyes were on her now. Vincent took a deep breath. 3 weeks ago," he said loudly, "I lost a wallet filled with money and identity documents. Anyone could have taken it. Anyone." He looked straight at Caroline. "But this woman returned it without asking my name." Silence. The workers looked at Caroline again, differently this time. Vincent continued, his voice calm but heavy. "I have searched for her since that day. And today, I found her carrying blocks under the sun." Caroline swallowed hard. "Sir," she whispered, "I didn't do it for reward." Vincent nodded slowly. "I know," he said. "And that is exactly why your life is about to change." But before anyone could speak again, a woman's sharp voice cut through the crowd. "That's a lie." Everyone turned. A well-dressed woman stood at the edge of the site, her eyes burning with jealousy. And in that moment, Caroline felt it. The air changed. Trouble had arrived. And the truth was about to be tested. Part 2 continues. The woman stepped forward slowly. Her heels sank into the sand of the construction site, but she didn't care. Her clothes were clean, expensive. Her perfume fought the smell of cement and sweat. She looked straight at Caroline. "That girl," she said loudly, pointing, "is a liar." A murmur passed through the workers. Caroline's heart skipped. Her hands trembled. Vincent turned sharply. "Who are you?" he asked, his voice low. The woman lifted her chin. "My name is Lydia," she said, "and I know this girl very well." Caroline shook her head slowly. "No, you don't," she whispered. Lydia laughed, cold and sharp. "Oh, but I do," she said. "She pretends to be poor and honest, but she follows rich men for money." Gasps. Someone whispered, "So that's how she knows him?" Caroline's chest burned. "That is not true," she cried. "I have never followed anyone." Lydia stepped closer, her eyes cruel. "Then why," she said, "does a billionaire come looking for you at a construction site?" Caroline opened her mouth, but no words came. Vincent raised his hand. "Enough," he said firmly. But Lydia wasn't done. "This girl," she continued, picked your wallet because she wanted you to notice her. She planned it. Caroline's eyes filled with tears. God knows my heart, she said softly. I found it on the ground. That is all. Vincent looked at Caroline. He saw fear, pain, but no lie. Still, doubt hung in the air. The site manager cleared his throat. Sir, he said carefully, people here are talking. This is a workplace. Lydia smiled. Yes, she said. Let everyone hear the truth. Caroline felt small, dirty, as if the dust on the ground had climbed into her chest. She remembered her siblings, her long nights, her prayers whispered to the sky. She straightened her back. If returning something that doesn't belong to me is a crime, she said quietly, then I am guilty. The workers went silent. Vincent took one slow step forward. Lydia watched him closely, confident, but she didn't see the fire growing in his eyes. Because Vincent was not angry at Caroline. He was angry at the lie. And he was about to speak. Part 2 continues. Vincent raised his hand again. The whole construction site froze. Dust hung in the air. Even the machines went quiet. Everyone, Vincent said calmly, listen to me. Lydia folded her arms, confident. She believed she had already won. Vincent turned to Caroline first. Look at me, he said softly. Caroline lifted her face. Tears stood in her eyes, but she did not fall apart. I asked you to come with me that day, Vincent continued, but you refused money first. You didn't beg. You didn't demand anything. He turned slowly to the workers. If this woman wanted to trap me, he said, she would have taken the cash from my wallet. She would have disappeared. A quiet murmur rose again. Vincent faced Lydia. You said she planned everything, he said. Tell me, how did she know who I was? Lydia hesitated. She must have recognized you, Lydia replied quickly. Vincent shook his head. I was wearing a cap, plain clothes, no driver, no escort. Lydia's smile cracked. She followed you later, Lydia insisted. She wanted attention. Caroline finally spoke, her voice shaking but strong. I didn't even know his name, she said. I didn't know he was rich. I only knew the wallet was not mine. Silence. One of the older workers stepped forward. I saw her that day, the man said. She came back to work late. She told us she returned something important. Another worker nodded. She didn't boast. She didn't celebrate. Lydia's face tightened. Vincent took a deep breath. Enough, he said. He turned to the site manager. From today, Vincent said clearly, this woman works here under my protection. Gasps. And anyone, he continued, who insults her again will answer to me. Lydia's eyes widened. You're choosing her? She asked sharply. After everything I said? Vincent looked straight at her. I choose truth, he replied. And I see it clearly. Lydia's hands trembled. She took a step back. This is not over, she hissed. She turned and walked away, her heels sinking into the dirt she despised. Caroline stood frozen. Vincent looked at her again. You don't have to carry blocks anymore, he said gently. But only if you choose. Caroline wiped her tears. I don't want favors, she said softly. I just want dignity. Vincent nodded slowly. And in that moment, he respected her more than ever. But far away, Lydia's eyes burned with anger, and she was already planning her next move. Part 2 continues. Lydia did not sleep that night. Her room was dark, but her mind was louder than thunder. How did she win? Lydia whispered, pacing the floor. A poor girl, a block carrier. Her phone buzzed. She stopped. A slow smile crept onto her face. By morning, the trap was already moving. At the construction site, the sun rose hot and unforgiving. Caroline arrived early, as always. She tied her faded scarf tighter, picked up her gloves, and went straight to work. Some workers watched her differently now. With respect, with curiosity. But not everyone. A man in a neat shirt and hard hat approached the site manager. "I'm from the city inspection unit," he said calmly. "Routine check." No one questioned him. Lydia had planned well. Later that afternoon, shouts filled the site. "Stop work!" the man yelled. Workers froze. Machine shut down. The site manager ran forward. "What's the problem, sir?" The inspector flipped open a file. "We received a report," he said loudly, "that materials are being stolen and sold illegally." Gasps. Eyes turned everywhere. Then, his finger stopped. He pointed straight at Caroline. "This woman," he said. "She has been reported." Caroline's heart dropped. "What?" she whispered. "No, that's not true." The crowd shifted. "She's always here early," someone murmured. "Maybe she hides things." Caroline shook her head desperately. "I swear," she said, her voice breaking, "I have never taken anything." The inspector crossed his arms. "We will search her belongings." Before she could speak, two men stepped forward. They opened her bag. Slowly. Then, one of them gasped, "There is!" A small roll of copper wire. The crowd exploded. "She's a thief! I knew it! Poor people are like this." Caroline felt dizzy. "That is not mine!" she cried. "I've never seen that before." Her knees weakened. Tears streamed down her face. Just then, a black SUV stopped at the gate. Dust rose. The door opened. Vincent stepped out. The noise died instantly. He walked forward slowly, his eyes fixed on Caroline's shaking hands. "What is happening here?" he asked quietly. The inspector spoke fast. "We caught her stealing, sir." Vincent looked at the wire, then at Caroline, then back at the men. Something didn't sit right. Caroline lifted her face. Her voice was barely a whisper. "Sir, I didn't do this." Vincent held her gaze, and in his eyes, there was no doubt. But Lydia, watching from afar, smiled. She believed the trap had closed. She didn't know. Truth was about to fight back. Part 2 continues. The midday sun was relentless. Caroline stood frozen, her bag opened, eyes wide with shock. Workers whispered. Some laughed. Some stared, unsure what to believe. "Stop! Listen to me!" Caroline's voice trembled, barely audible over the murmurs. "I swear I did not take anything. Please check. Please!" But the inspector's eyes were cold. "Evidence is evidence," he said. "Rules are rules." Caroline felt the ground tilt beneath her. The copper wire in her bag, it had been planted. She wanted to scream, to fight, but the weight of the crowd pressed her down. Vincent's SUV tires crunched on the dirt, and he stepped out slowly. His presence silenced the whispers. All eyes turned to him. He approached Caroline, his calm voice cutting through the chaos. "Caroline, stay calm. I trust you." Her chest heaved. Tears rolled freely. "Sir, thank you, but what about—" The inspector stepped forward, insisting, "She must be detained until investigation." Vincent raised a hand. "Not so fast." He looked around, his gaze sharp. "Every worker here saw her every day. Ask them. Did you ever see Caroline steal?" A few hesitant voices spoke up. "She never. She always works hard." "She's honest, sir." The inspector frowned, unsure. Lydia, watching from afar, clenched her fists. Her plan was unraveling. Caroline's hope sparked faintly. Vincent knelt slightly, speaking softly, almost just to her. "I know your heart, Caroline. I know who you are." The crowd shifted uneasily. Whispers turned to murmurs of doubt. The trap was failing, and Lydia could see it. Caroline straightened. She lifted her chin. Her eyes shone with quiet resilience. Vincent's voice carried over the sight. "No one will judge her falsely. Not while I am here." The sun fell softly over the half-built building, casting long shadows that seemed to say, "Truth is stronger than deceit." Caroline's heart beat fast. She knew justice was coming, but the battle was not yet over. Part 2 continues. The site was quiet now, the dust settling in golden light. Caroline sat on a low concrete block, hands still trembling, eyes fixed on the ground. Her heart ached, not just from the false accusation, but from the weight of a life that always demanded more than she could give. Vincent approached slowly, his shadow stretching long across the dusty earth. He crouched beside her, voice gentle, calm. "Caroline, it's not your fault. You've done nothing wrong. Look at me. I trust you." She looked up, tears glistening, catching the sunlight like tiny stars. "Sir, I don't know how to fix this. Everyone thinks I'm guilty." He took her hands in his, steadying her, grounding her. "Truth doesn't need fixing. It always shines, even when hidden. Your honesty, your courage, it speaks louder than lies." Caroline felt a warmth spread through her chest. A small, fragile hope grew. Maybe this time, someone truly understood her struggle. Vincent's eyes softened. "I've seen your work, your heart, your strength. I've watched you carry burdens most wouldn't survive. You deserve better, Caroline. And I promise, better is coming." She swallowed hard. A lump of gratitude and relief lodged in her throat. "No one has ever said that to me. Not like that." The workers began to gather quietly, curious but respectful now. They saw the trust in Vincent's eyes, and slowly, disbelief gave way to understanding. Caroline's lips curved into a small, shaky smile. For the first time in a long while, she felt seen. Not for what she carried or what she earned, but for who she was. The golden sun bathed the half-built building behind them, shadows stretching across the ground like a promise. Every storm ends, and a new chapter begins. Part 2 continues. The village square was quiet. Too quiet. Caroline stood there, her hands shaking, dust on her feet, eyes full of old pain. People whispered. Some pointed fingers. Some looked away. Then Vincent stepped forward. His voice was calm, but it cut through the silence. "Stop," he said. "This woman is not a liar." Everyone turned. Vincent lifted his head. "I know the truth," he said. "And today, I will say it." He told them everything. About the lies. About the false accusation. About the man who hid in shadows and tried to destroy Caroline. The crowd froze. An elder stepped forward. "Is this true?" he asked. The hidden enemy tried to speak, but his voice failed him. Justice had finally arrived. Caroline closed her eyes. For the first time in years, the world felt lighter. Scene flows into emotional pause. The sun was high now. Vincent turned to Caroline. "You suffered," he said softly, "but your heart never became dark." People expected money, gold, land, but Vincent shook his head. "My reward is not coins," he said. "It is dignity." He offered her something greater. Respect, work with honor, a future built with truth. Tears rolled down Caroline's face. Not because she was rich, but because she was finally seen. The village watched in silence. A broken woman was no longer broken. Music softens, hope rises. Morning returned to the land. Caroline walked past the construction site. Not as a victim, but as a woman with purpose. Vincent watched from a distance. The half-built building stood tall. No longer a place of pain, but a symbol of a new beginning. The wind moved gently through the trees, and the village learned a lesson that day. Backhand index pointing right truth may walk slowly, but it never arrives late. Backhand index pointing right those who endure with a clean heart will never be forgotten. Some rewards come as money, but the greatest reward is restored destiny. Fade out. Truth always wins. If you believe in stories like this, subscribe now, hit like, and tell us what you felt in the comments.